Good Friday morning. I'm Randi Hildreth. Thank you so much for waking up with us this morning. It's bright and early, but I imagine some people are already thinking about that Thanksgiving leftover plate that they plan to eat. It's 4 a.m. Listen, this is a safe space. This time last week, we were saying like, oh, hurricane season. We're looking ahead to November. Nothing, too serious. But now, hurricane watch this morning. Allison mentioned Puerto Rico is dealing with significant damage this morning in the wake of Hurricane Fiona. I want you to take a look at just a few of the videos we've gathered.
Possible ban on TikTok, an app that's widely used, but some pretty broad restrictions that could go with that.
Well, we know across the nation there have been a lot of conversations about this, concerns about data and privacy. And so what they are doing is saying, first and foremost, if you are getting a district-issued Chromebook, if you're an administrator and have a district-issued cell phone, you can't download TikTok on that. But I thought it was really interesting when I was looking through the agenda and the attachments. There's also a line in there that says if you have your personal cell phone and you have TikTok on there and you are downloaded or connected to the district's Wi-Fi, they don't want you to do that either.
Listen, I want you to take a look at this damage. You see it right behind me. This is all that's left of Jugo Cafe Tropical. The Ocala restaurant was destroyed after an explosion Friday night. Fox's Doug Luzader is live in Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. As you mentioned, I want to bring Governor DeSantis into the conversation. Do you think that this potentially speeds up his timeline for making any additional announcements, officially throwing his hat into the race? And we are following breaking news. SpaceX is preparing to send up a rocket from Cape Canaveral. The Falcon 9 will carry another batch of Starlink internet satellites into orbit. Let's go ahead and start listening now. 10 out of 10 for me. It's so beautiful to watch this. I think it's so special to see it at 4:30, dark and early in the morning, because the launch just illuminates the sky. So another successful launch. Some areas in Volusia County got a significant amount of rain, which led to flooding. If we look back here, this is off Cortland and Cabot. It's hard to make out, but there is a cul-de-sac back there. And one of the families actually had to use a kayak to get from their home to dry land. Now, as for this home on the corner, if you look down below my feet, they actually installed this makeshift bridge so that they could get out of their home onto dry land. I'm at the transportation hub, and it's a perfect time to remind people about bus safety. I want to show you something really quickly. I have my cameraman cut off the lights to see. It's probably pretty hard for you to see me this morning. I want to use this as a reminder for people to make sure that you put on your lights, and we'll turn the lights back on so you can see me as you are driving. I need to scream at you, Matt. It's an exciting time for fans because the Rolex 24 means racing season has officially begun. I know it's loud out there. It is officially Black Friday, but people don't cram the stores like they used to. It wasn't long ago when stores looked like this. You remember this? Well, take a look at this new video. It shows people running for safety. Ooh, look at it here. It follows that mass shooting in Philadelphia Saturday night. 3 people died. 11 people are still recovering this morning. Just scary moments. Murder of a man in Seminole County is being described as gruesome, horrific, and evil. Deputies say he was killed at random in Pasco County. As Fox 35's David Puglisi reports, the man's family is now calling for answers.
My wingspan 5 feet. So the gator is double the size of my arm. So 10-foot gator, double the size of what you see. Actually, the sign that was on the gates alerting people that the park was closed as they monitored this situation. Boardwalk temporarily closed. Aggressive 10-foot plus alligator to be relocated. Before students could get breakfast and lunch to go, Volusia County Public Schools said it would send students home with bags of food. Well, now that this waiver is ending, families have to physically bring their child to schools like Discovery Elementary.
Randi Hildreth joining us live in studio. Randi, good morning. I know you've been working these stories for weeks now, and the struggle is real for some of these teachers.
Yeah, good morning to you both. So this morning, I am sharing the stories of the teachers who have picked up side jobs, and side jobs that may surprise you. They love the impact that they're making as a teacher in the classroom, but the passion isn't paying the bills. The first story you'll hear is from a teacher who picks up a camera after the bell rings.
They also ask me how I juggle it all.
Abigail Capolini is juggling a full-time job as a third-grade teacher by day and a part-time job as a wedding photographer on some evenings and weekends.
That requires maybe nights where after putting my kids to bed, I'm editing and I'm responding to emails.
She says photography has always been a hobby, but it turned into an essential part of the family's income within the last 2 years. Capolini has been teaching for 6 years, and her annual salary is in the $50,000 range. She says alone, it wasn't enough.
I wasn't able to make my means, plus throw in childcare. And like I said, a car insurance, it just kind of grows. It gets, higher and higher every 6 months.
The National Education Association, the largest teachers union, reports the average educator pay has failed to keep up with inflation. It estimates, based on today's economy, teachers are making roughly $3,600 less than they did 10 years ago. Capolini says her photography business has grown in its second year. She's on track to earn over $20,000 extra dollars, but says her family would be in a better position if she made more as a teacher.
I think we deserve more pay, more competitive pay. A lot of other, careers get paid a lot more. And we're working with the future of our country.
Now, if this story surprised you, coming up in the next hour, I'm introducing you to a teacher who started a pressure washing business with her husband to make ends meet. So this side job was pretty shocking to me and shows that teachers are willing to learn new skills if it means they can earn extra money. In this hour, you will hear from a teacher who started a pressure washing business with her husband to get by.
The rattle of the pressure washing machine can be heard down Wekiva Meadows Court.
As long as there's opportunities to work, we will take them, regardless of is that going to be an 80-hour work week or is that going to be a 60-hour work week.
Ashley Modesto's weeks are longer than most. Not only is she running a pressure washing business with her husband, she's also a full-time teacher at Edgewater High School, an exhausting but necessary juggling act.
Life shouldn't be this difficult, especially when you are a professional and you have a degree.
Research by the Economic Policy Institute found, on average, teachers made 26.4% less than other similarly educated professionals last year. So many teachers, like Modesto, are picking up extra jobs to stay afloat. In fact, a 2021 national survey by the Teacher Salary Project found 82% of educators who responded currently or previously had a side job. 53% said they were currently working multiple jobs.
I have some teacher friends of mine that work for the post office or Walmart or Amazon.
Modesto has been a teacher for 8 years and says her annual salary is in the $50,000 range. She says taking on a second job was the only way her family could pay for everyday necessities or build their savings.
We don't go in this career asking to be millionaires, but at the very least, we do deserve the ability to just go to work and go home and not have to worry about paying for bills.
So by now, you may be asking yourself, what is being done to get teachers more money? So let's start with the facts. Starting base pay for teachers in Florida, at least $47.5 per year. And data shows we trail the nation in teacher pay. Now, in Central Florida, trends slightly higher. Starting pay in Osceola County, for example, $49,000. And the district does offer bonuses based on classroom performance. But some lawmakers say the state needs to chip in more. So coming up in the next hour, I'll break down the bill that's been proposed.
And Randi, clearly, this really is an issue, right? And so what's being done to help?
Okay, so here's the thing. Teachers are paid through taxes and allocations by the government. So there are a lot of eyes on Tallahassee again this legislative session. I spoke to one state lawmaker who said the raise teachers got last session was not nearly enough. So he's going back again this year to ask for more.
It's not that we have a lack of funding. It may be a lack of care.
State Representative Gervonta Edmonds hopes this is the legislative session he can get teachers closer to the raise he feels they need.
I've talked to many teachers where they say they go to work 9 to 5 and then they get off and go to their second job from 6 to 11 to 12. There is nobody in this world that can work almost 12, 14 hours a day and then try to be a successful educator. If we're going to produce the best and brightest in our students, we need teachers who are happy about their job, happy about their pay.
The National Education Association, the largest teachers union, still lists Florida as 48th in the nation for teacher pay. So Edmonds is co-sponsoring the Save Our Teachers Act to try and change that. If passed, it would raise starting base pay from over $47,000 a year to at least $65,000 a year. That would bring paychecks higher than the median teacher pay nationally. Edmond says the raise is doable. He estimates it would cost $2 to $3 billion and says the state has $10 billion in reserve. He just hopes he can get buy-in this legislative session.
Last year, they really didn't have an appetite for a bill like this because of so much money going into the voucher program. This year, it seems that we may have a clear path.
So if passed, it will go into effect next summer. And listen, if you miss any of our stories about teachers and their side jobs this morning, you can watch them on fox35orlando.com and share them on our Facebook page. I'll send it back to you guys.